Anybody know when AOC will be available on consoles? Hopefully never. Recently, in both the Ashes Academy Discord server and on a couple of my Ashes of Creation videos, some people have inquired as to whether the upcoming MMORPG will be available on console. I'm sorry to upset those of you wanting it on console, but it doesn't seem like Ashes is being developed as a multi-platform MMO, although at best, Intrepid Studios may port it to console as a possibility. The difference between the two being that a port would ultimately just be a scaled down version of the game, whereas the game itself, unlike some other games in development, isn't being developed with console specifications in mind. I'm going to take a firm stance on this matter, and it may be controversial to some, but I truly don't think Ashes of Creation, or MMORPGs in general, if they're serious, should be developed with the console platforms in mind, namely the Xbox and PlayStation hardware series. The biggest reasons for my stance are as follows. Number 1, the continued development and thus longevity of a MMORPG is often threatened by the limitations placed onto it by console specs such as memory, hardware, and the certification process developers have to go through if they do decide to develop for the multi-platform gameplay experience. Second, in most cases, the experience of a MMORPG to its fullest extent or potential is often not shared when you look at comparisons between the PC and console player populations. Let me explain the first reason real quick. As those of you who follow my channel know, in interviews I covered involving studio director Matt Fearer of ZeniMax Online Studios and creative director Rich Lambert, they often went into detail about how not a lot can be done for the Elder Scrolls Online in terms of adding a new class, new skills, new anything, including adding additional furnishing slots for player housing due to the constraints of console, specifically the older generation of console that they are still supporting as of 2022, meaning not the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, although it seems that there are still console-specific issues on the Xbox Series X and PS5 with ESO. For the second reason, console players in general usually hit a limit on quality of life and gameplay experience. For ESO, it's frames per second, lack of add-ons, worse connectivity, limited memory and graphics causing blacked out textures, and so on. For Black Desert Online console players, they don't even get certain enemies or certain numbers of enemies because of performance issues. Content patches can almost come a year after BDO players on PC get them, with smaller incremental patches coming 2 to 3 months after PC players get them. All of this is exacerbated by a certification process for patches required by both Sony and Microsoft, meaning an incremental patch on PC that's already fixed some bugs and issues won't be able to get to console players until 2 to 4 weeks after. So ultimately, to me, it's not only a hindrance on a MMORPG's development if the focus goes to console as well, but it's also a poor or incomplete level of fulfillment for us players as well, whether we are on PC or console as a result of that development. Lastly, let's talk about the big MMO elephant in the room, Final Fantasy XIV, because this will probably be brought up by a lot of people, and I'm sure some will even bring up Destiny 2 with some other games like Neverwinter or whatever that's also on console, although the quality differences has also been questioned as well by many players in Destiny and Neverwinter and even Final Fantasy XIV. The thing with Final Fantasy XIV is that Square Enix and Sony have a vested relationship at times, which is a big part of why Final Fantasy XIV is not on Xbox, with Sony previously having a large amount of shares in Square Enix, probably allowing for an easier certification process and series of patch cycles. In addition to this, Final Fantasy XIV was launched quite some time ago in 2013, a year before ESO even, and the game engine along with the specifications required to run it is far less demanding than what you would need for things like Ashes of Creation with its Unreal Engine 5 or 5.1 and other upcoming MMORPGs think by NCSoft and other studio companies. I'd rather have the developer time focused on providing a complete experience for all players who can access a computer rather than a subpar, half-assed product, because let's face it, I think the porting of or development for a MMORPG on console for upcoming MMOs would be a red flag to a lot of us who has had the experience on both console and PC, as it shows that the company probably thinks it needs even more money and exposure over quality, which is exactly what happened with some MMOs, including ESO. But that's just my opinion, and if you want to opine as well on this matter, feel free to comment below. Either way, if you want to talk more about Ashes of Creation or just MMOs in general, feel free to join the Ashes Academy Discord server linked in the description below. Thanks for watching, have a wonderful day, stay safe, have fun, and see you guys next time.